Have you ever been cataloging an item and had information that none of the fields seem to match up to? Even though PastPerfect has hundreds of fields to keep track of your collection and contact data, it's possible that some information you need to record doesn't have a corresponding field in PastPerfect. Custom Fields gives you the ability to create fields that best fit your needs. By the end of this video, we will be able to better understand how custom fields should be used, know how to set up a custom field and check the field for pre-existing data, and be able to rename custom field names and set up the authority file when applicable. Custom fields can be found by clicking on the Custom Field Screen View tab from your records. In the Objects, Photos, Archives, and Library catalogs, there are 22 customizable fields to work with. These fields are quite different, so it's important that you know what information you need to keep track of so that you can choose the correct field. Fields 1 through 10 are character fields with a limit of 75 characters. Fields 11 and 12 are also character fields but hold a maximum of 20 characters. Custom Field 13 is a numeric field that can hold 12 digits with no decimals. Fields 14 and 15 can hold 9 digits plus an additional 2 decimal places. Fields 16 and 17 hold 8 integers and up to 3 decimal places. Custom Fields 18 through 20 are date fields, and Fields 21 and 22 are memo fields meant for lengthy descriptions. If you ever forget what any of these fields are or what their character limits are, simply click in the field and then click F1 on your keyboard. This can be used for most other fields in PastPerfect as well. There are a couple other things that you can do with custom fields. For example, Field 1 can be used to sort your records by and also be used for doing quick finds within your catalogs. Since you are able to sort by this field, it's important to keep in mind that if and when you use Custom Field 1, that it's something you want to sort and search your records for. Additionally, Custom Fields 1 through 10 and 21 and 22 can all utilize authority files, which are extremely helpful in keeping your data consistent. To access the authority files, just click in the field you're adding data to, and then right-click your mouse or press F7 on your keyboard. The most important thing to remember before starting to populate a custom field is to check that the field is not already being used. If you start using a custom field without first checking for existing data in the field, you could get inconsistent results or very wrong and misleading information. You also want to make sure that the field you're creating isn't already available to you in PastPerfect. You wouldn't want 2 fields for condition or 2 fields named material. Let's go through one together. Let's say my museum has a shoe collection but nowhere to keep track of shoe sizes. We want to use a custom field to keep track of this. First, I'll need to run a query. Since shoes are all objects, I just want to do an objects query, but I could do an all catalog query if I wanted to keep track of the same thing across all 4 catalogs. Since I don't necessarily want to sort my entire objects catalog by shoe size, I want to check for a field that's available but not Custom Field 1. I could also use a numeric field, but I want to keep track of whether it's a woman's, men's, or kid's shoe, so I'll need a field that also holds letters. Let's try for Custom Field 2. For the filter statement, choose that custom field, and then for the condition, click on Is Not Empty. This will give any records that may be using Custom Field 2 as a field already. No results. Great! So now I can go rename my field and set up the authority file. To do so, click on Setup at the top left of the main menu and then down to Custom Fields. Then, rename the field you want to use. After that, click on Setup Authority File to add entries to this field. To save time, I already put my entries in. Authority files are helpful in that they keep your data more consistent and prevent user errors such as typos. It's always best to use authority files when possible. Click on the plus button to add a new entry or the red X to remove an entry from being used in the future. It's always possible to add more entries to the authority file later on, so if you don't have everything entered right away, that's alright. Now that the authority file entries are all set up, I can start adding the information to my records. And there we have it. You can read more about setting up custom fields in Chapter 3 of our user guide. We also have a tech tip video on our YouTube channel about setting up authority files. You can also reach out to our support team and we'll be happy to help get you started. You can reach us by phone at 800-562-6080 or by email at support@museumsoftware.com.